Are you looking to make a fortune playing basketball overseas? Think again. If you think you're going to get those nice cribs, get the nice car, get all the luxuries where you see guys on Instagram, I'm playing in Dubai, I'm playing here. Well, in this episode, we're going to give you 5 reasons why you probably will never move up to that caliber of money playing overseas basketball.
What are you thinking? Yeah. What are you thinking? Yeah. If you wanna know my thoughts, open your ears when I talk. Yeah. What are you thinking? Hey. What are you thinking? Hey. If you wanna know my thoughts, open your ears when I talk. Yeah.
Welcome to another edition of the Arnold's Thoughts Podcast. It's your boy Arnold. I help athletes all over the world get ready for playing basketball overseas, whether that's mentally, physically, emotionally. If you want to play overseas basketball, if that is your dream, that is your passion, then this is the place for you. Before we get started, make sure you guys like, make sure you guys subscribe, make sure you guys keep following and sharing this with someone so we can get every athlete out there ready for this overseas life. In this episode, we're going to talk about 5 reasons why you'll probably never move up, or you probably might not even make it past your first country. Let's get into it. Reason number 1, you must have good stats and efficiency. Now, what do I mean by good stats and efficiency? I mean, you can't just be out there putting up 20, 30 shots a game. Too many athletes these days, they come overseas and they think that, you know what, I'm finna just come out here and kill. That's the saying that we always like to use. I'm finna come out here and kill. I'm finna come out here and put on, and I'm finna go drop and get buckets. I'm finna be the guy. I'm finna come down here and put up as much shots as I want and be shooting 35% from the field. It's not gonna happen. It is not gonna happen. People, the world that we live in today is so statistical. There is stats driven, numbers driven. What are the numbers? What is the stats? What is this efficiency? There is a stat now. It's like your plus minus. I believe since 2020, since I started playing, every time they put the player of the game, it doesn't be the person who has the most points, because normally every time you watch the game, it's always the person with the most points who normally gets player of the game. Strictly talking about from overseas, from about 2020 when I started playing. They didn't really have this before 2020. It's like after 2021, After 2021, when the season started, I started playing again, and I started realizing this all over when I see other guys post their stats, post their how much they when they get an MVP, they put the plus minus up there. They put the plus minus of their efficiency in the game. I just played a game last night. I had 13 points, 15 rebounds. I had a teammate that had 15 points. I had another one who had 16 points, and I had another one who had 20. But my plus minus was higher than everyone, and I guess it was the double and the 15 rebounds that made my plus minus, and the 3 steals, you know. But you focus so much on points and not the efficiency and how you affect the game. That's the whole point. How do you affect the game? Your efficiency level. You can't just be out here just putting up shots. And I wanted to break something down real quick. Like I'm gonna get into it because most guys don't really understand what are good stats. What are good stats? And I did some research. I had a guy that was on our team last time, and he put me on. He gave me some real good information on just the overseas basketball and the statistical breakdown of country by country. And we broke down just the number of minutes played by imports in a country, the number of points that an average player plays in a country. And I think this is just a misconception. I don't know what is this big misconception that so many players put on this facade. What is this facade that we keep putting on that we're just out here going for 25 a night? You're not. You're not going that. Now, some players in some leagues might be going crazy and putting on 25, but those are scoring leagues. That does not happen on the average. That's not the average. I'm going to give you all some statistical breakdown. This is literally from FIBA, from like the head ups. Like I got this information, I've been doing my research. I got a little inside scoop. Someone passed me some information that I have to share with you guys just to give y'all an understanding of what it really means to be efficient. What are the realistics? Like how many shots you really think you're going to get? Last night I took 12 shots. I talked to my homeboy. He took 8 shots. That's normal. You're not going to be up here putting up 25 shots a game. I don't know where guys get this. I'm going to just come out here and I'm just finna go ham. And I'm just finna no. Especially, that's one thing that I learned later on in my career, because I played in the league in Colombia and there was a lot of guys. It was a scoring league. It was short, but it was a scoring league. So you're probably putting up 22, 23 points, not even points, shots per game. Moving over, I've seen the games just slowly start changing. Guys got to be more efficient. You got to be shooting above 50% from the 2 minimum. 35, 33, that's not really. I'm 42, 43. It's got to be up in those range, up in the high 40s in your percentage, because you're getting limited shots. So you have to be efficient with those shots that you take and efficient with the shots that you make. If you're not out there making shots, you're not going to get the money that you want because you're not efficient on the court. You're not going to get 20 shots a game. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get 20 shots a game. If you're not getting 20 shots a game, how can you be effective with the 7 shots, 8 shots that I'm getting a game? Can I go 4 for 8? Can I go 7 for 9? Can I go 4 or 5? Can I go 6 or 6 from the free throw line? That's 17, 18 points right there, just like that. It's your efficiency. Now, on the stats that I was looking at, right? Argentina, I'm going to use Argentina because I'm here. In the first division, Argentina, the average amounts of points from an American player is 11.6. That's the base average. Now, this was a statistical stat of not last year, because they still working on the last year, but up until 2021, 2022, the statistical average, it hasn't changed just overnight, still about the same. The average American player that comes over and plays, let's just get Argentina for example. The base average for all Americans combined points from Americans is 11.6. Now there are also other non-American imports. The base average for them are 8 points a game. For the imports, it's 7.4. So you're looking at, on a good team, an average team, the average base is 11.6 points per game. So right around 12 points a game. I'm telling you right now, if you go on Latin Basket, I just went on Latin Basket, right? That's where you can go and look up all the teams. You can look at the rankings. You can look at the stats. You can look at the name of the team. You can look at where they're at in the season. You can look at the player with the most points, the most rebounds. The leading scorer of the league right now is averaging 17.7 points per game. 17.7 points per game. Not 20, not 25, not 23. So that means you have to be very efficient in the time you get. Speaking on time, do you know the base average of time that an American plays on average? What's up, guys? I just dropped my new ebook, 6 must-have steps to be an overseas basketball player. You know, I've been playing for the last 9 years. I got all the steps and the traits that you need to start your journey with networking, with getting a mentor, all the things that you need to start your journey to be a protege. So go get that ebook, click the link in the bio, and make sure you get your steps to being that overseas pro one day. Let's go. It's 20.7 points per game. So literally in an overseas basketball game, most overseas basketball games are in 40-minute time, 10 minutes a quarter. You're only playing half the game. That's the base average time that an American is playing. In a whole, some teams might have players that are going to play more time, of course. But in a whole, the average player is playing 20.7, 20 minutes, 20.7, 21 minutes a game. So you have to be very efficient in that time that you do, and in that time that you have. If you want to scale up, if you want to get to this money, you got to start working on your efficiency. How do we work on being more efficient? You work on being more efficient by being more quality, having more quality in your work that you put in. Instead of saying I'm going to the gym and I was in the gym for 2 hours, 3, listen. Pros don't spend that much time in the gym, but the time in the gym spent is quality time. I don't have to be in there 2.5 hours, 3 hours. I can be in there hour and 10, hour and 15 and get great work, quality work. I hit my spots. I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going to. Understanding the game. I believe that's one of the big, you have to understand the game, understand where you're going to get your shots. Do you know where you're going to get your shots? I've been playing for 9 years and it does not change. 95% of the teams that I've played on, my shots come from the same place. 95% of the time, my shots gonna come from the same place. So you have to know where your spot's at. Being and having more quality work. Melo said he used to go to the gym for 1 hour, put 1 good hour in, and then he's out. You're talking about a Hall of Famer. So it's not just my words. This is what literally Melo is using for how he works out. So that lets you know you have to take, because it's more about taking care of your body, the workout that you're doing. You're playing all these games. It's so physical, and it's just your body is just a tool that you're using to play this game. So you got to make sure that you're fine tuning. Being in the gym in the weight room is more important than really on the court, because you got to last, making it to playoffs, making a deep run, which is my second point why you probably will not make a lot of money overseas. Is you have to win games. You have to win games. One of my best friends, we've played together, we won a championship together, we made history together, and something he used to always say, the stage. We have to make it to the stage. Do you know what the stage is? It's the playoffs on the postseason. That's the stage, man. You got to make it to the stage. You got to make it to the biggest and the most important part of the season. If you're playing on teams, there was a guy, I'm not going to say his name, obviously, but there was a guy, he used to play in Chile when I used to play. He was always on one of the lower teams, but he used to come out there and average about 25, 26, get 30 points a game, scored. But guess what? I never seen him on a good team. I never seen him in a good country. I've always seen him in a lower country. I've always seen him on the lower team, and I know that's for a reason. You're not winning. Do you know how many people out there that can score the basketball? There are a lot of players that can score the basketball. I myself pride myself on being a winner. I win. You have to win. There are unbelievable scores in this world. You can go down to LA Fitness and find some of the best scorers you ever seen. Like, yo, you don't play somewhere? The way you're scoring, you have to be playing somewhere. Like, you just seem like you're too good. You have to be able to play. Everybody can score the basketball, but can you win? Michael Jordan in The Last Dance, he even said it, man. I started focusing more on the team. I'm more geared towards the team success, because when we win as a whole, as a unit, that's the only way he became the GOAT, because he won. He could, yes, he would have been great, a scorer. Back again, Melo was a great scorer, this, that, but he didn't win. He did not win. If you want your bag to increase, you have to win. You have to be on the stage. How do you get to the stage? You have to win games to get to the stage. You got to get to the dance. You can't do it. You can't do it if you don't get there. Yeah, but I averaged this much, but you didn't win. You have to be the last one standing. That's where all the eyes are. That's where all of the eyes are. So making it to the playoffs and winning games is essential. How do you make it to the playoffs? Making it to the playoffs, you have to start paying more attention to detail. When you have attention to detail, taking film session serious. First of all, this is your business. This whole game is a business. So if you want to increase your business, I don't think I understand or ever seen that one business person say, well, I'm going to just come out here and wing it. I'm not going to pay attention to the numbers. I'm not going to pay attention to my competition. I'm not going to try to improve. I'm not going to have attention to detail. Those businesses normally don't last. The ones who pay a lot of attention to detail, the ones who study their competitors, the ones who improve every day by watching and having the attention to detail and numbers, those are the ones who become the best and win and improve themselves and get more money, because they are doing the intangibles. Understanding the intangibles and understanding attention to detail. If you got film session, watch the team. Think about, watch how many times they run the play. Watch how many times they use the screen to roll. When do they go into it? How many times they use it? Who normally uses the screen and roll the most? All these are attention to details that you must pay attention to. Another part of making it to the player, we have a saying called KYP. Know your personnel. That is so important on the basketball court, to know your personnel. If I got a shooter and a non-shooter, and I'm splitting the difference, and I got one open and one in the corner, if the non-shooter has it, hey, I'm going to have to live. I'm not giving it up to the shooter. I'm not just out here sprinting. If he is a shooter, close out to the strong arm. Make him drive. We would prefer the 2 over the 3 because he's a shooter. Knowing your personnel. Hey, this guy is only going to go right. He's going to go right. He's going to fake to the left. And he's going to come over with the right hand hook. Attention to detail. Know your personnel. People are so accustomed to their habits when the game is going on and it's 1,000 miles per hour. You're just going to fall back into your natural state. That's why we have film session. So you can see what a guy's natural tendency. You got to know him better than he knows himself. You got to know, okay, he's going to crossover, do another crossover, and he's going to go this way. Every single time, it doesn't fail. It's just, are you paying attention to it? Are you developing your mind? And are you paying attention to the details so you can improve and help your team win, so you can get seen, so you can get more money? Number 3, reason why you probably won't make money overseas and increase your bag. You do not look the part. What do I mean by looking the part? You didn't come prepared. When you come to a new team, you have to come there owning it. I don't mean arrogantly. Like, I don't mean just coming here like y'all gonna bow down to me and everybody's gonna bow down to me and this is my team and everybody must follow me. When I say look the part, you are a professional player. Do you understand what that means? That means you take care of your business. That means you come prepared and ready, in shape. You come with an open mind. You come ready. You have to look like the minute you should have that aura about you. Most athletes coming, especially the Americans or foreigners coming from from America or like different parts of a different country, they're the ones going to get looked at and criticized the most because your job's on the line. For the local talent, they're not going anywhere. They're from there. Their country is there. But being the import, being the foreigner, you have to come in like, okay, this guy is first on the sprints. He's getting it in the weight room. He picks up the plays really well. He studied. Like, you have to literally come in there and say, oh, okay, that guy's a pro. You could tell the guys, oh man, I literally just heard something on Instagram. I think it was. I was scrolling through and I heard something on Instagram, and it was like Kobe was like, when it comes down to the end of the game, I'm not passing you the shot. You know why? Because I seen when you came in the gym. I seen how much work you put in. I seen when you left the gym. I seen you on your phone. You aren't acting like a pro for the time that you put in. You're not putting in the time to be the pro that you're supposed to be to your team. Oh, you just gonna take it lightly. You just glad to have a job. Which is fine. Don't get it twisted. Which is fine. But we're not talking about just making it and having a job. We're talking about increasing the bag. We're talking about going up in levels. We're talking about making this something beneficial for us. Because the fact of the matter is, some guys don't make it past $2,000, $2,500. You can go get that anywhere. Let's be real. You can go get that anywhere. You can go find you a job making double that. Good job. Easy. I won't say easy, but you could definitely find there's many jobs that's going to pay that. Most guys don't make it past that. Most guys won't make it past $2,000 for 3, 4, 5 seasons in a row. And that's facts. If that's your prerogative, if that's what you want, ain't no problem with that. I'm not knocking that. But we're talking about, like I said, increasing the bag. Got to look the part. Got to come in ready. You got to have that edge to you. You have to just be ready to be like, okay, man, I came in here. You got to let the team and the owners and the coach say, look, man, I came here to work. I came here to help this team be better than it was a year before. I'm here to help this team be a pro, to be a champion. You got to have the best. You got to come in with the best success of your team. Your mindset has to be on that. My mindset is to, how can I help this team be the best it can possibly be? How do I improve this team's chances of winning the best it could possibly be? The best way you can help anybody or anything is by you being the best version of yourself, coming in being the best player that you can be by working on yourself, working on your game. Working on your game. That's how you do that. You work on your game. You get better. You make sure you get ready to get ready to get ready. You get ready to get ready to get ready. I don't practice for this. I always say I don't practice and train for the season to in preseason. First of all, I'm never practicing for just a season. My mind is always on winning the I want the highest goal possible. We have to be getting to the top of the top. Which is that? What is that? That's winning a championship. I have to be thinking of the highest possibility that I can maximize in the situation I am with the end goal in mind. Okay, what is the end goal? Championship. Okay, if I want to do that, I got to come in with that mentality, with my work ethic, with my mindset, with my attention to detail, because I have to be that person for that team. One of the first things that I incorporated with the team that I came on, we are no longer saying the name of the team. Y'all know the team. We know what the team name is. We know the city that we're in. What we are going to start doing is we're going to start changing our mindset to say champion every time we break it down. Why? Because we have to have that on our mind. That has to be our goals. That has to be our mindset moving forward. Because if championship is all we speak, all we think about, all we break it down, then that's with the end goal in mind. That's what we're going to work towards. And when you come and insert that into the team, I don't believe no team's going to be like, what? No, we say our team name. We don't say no champion. What are we doing this for? But you just taking those initiative steps to say, hey guys, let's say champion. That's what we want. That's the edge. That lets your teammates know, that lets them know that, hey, this guy, he's the guy that we want. Like, he is the guy that we wanted. He really won. He probably the guy that, that we need to make it to the next level, looking, acting, being the part. Number 4, why most guys don't never increase their value and increase their account is because they do not respect the culture and the country that they're in. Just today alone, just for context, just today alone, I got probably 2 coaches contacting me, not even including last week, just to say this month. This month alone, I probably got 4 coaches contacted me about players. And I ain't trying to be arrogant. I talked to my homeboy. He was like, hey, man, hey, how you doing? We looking for a player like you. But, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm who. Yeah, I am. I'm me. You can't say you're looking for a player like me because I'm me. You're looking for another player who you want to have a specific skill. But don't say we're looking for another Arnold Lewis, because I'm sorry, there ain't no other Arnold Lewis. And I stand by that. You feel me? I stand by that. There ain't no other Arnold Lewis. That's why you hitting up Arnold Lewis. That's how you got to be. But back to you guys. The whole point of that is the connections, and guys, managers, teams, organizations, they talk. So when they're looking for one of the managers, the GMs ask me, hey, do you know this guy? What kind of person is he off the court? I heard that he had an injury. Is he a good guy? I didn't even know the guy. Honestly, I didn't even know the guy. I really didn't. But the questioning of what kind of person is he? How does he respond? How does he react? That lets you know that being able to adapt and adjust to different teams' cultures is a big deal to most teams. Being able to adapt, understanding the way they move, understanding their cultures, understanding that their cultural movements. As I have inside my book, 6 must-have traits to be an overseas basketball player. Learning how to adapt. I go in depth on that in my book. Learning how to adapt to other countries, language barriers, food. You're not going to get a good recommendation from a team if you couldn't even adapt to the place. You got to understand, okay, you got to understand what you're getting yourself into, first of all. It can't be a selfish me ordeal. This is not about you when you go to a team. That's why it's called a team organization. I'm in Argentina. I have to understand how Argentinians move. I can't move like how I move in the States. That's how Americans move. That's how American cultures are. I'm not there. So the time that they eat, the way they interact, I have to be able to adjust to that. I have to be able to adjust to the way they hang out, the way the team trains in a certain way. Some guys train headphones on, tune out everybody. That will get you perceived as a bad person. All honesty, I've seen it before. You could get a bad rep for just not speaking to your teammates and you're not even thinking about it. You're just in your own world. But that's just not how their culture moves. So they give you a bad rep, says, hey, this guy's probably not really, and that doesn't allow you to increase your money. Well, that team might be wanting to double you up next year. You could be good on the court. You could be putting up numbers, but you just don't vibe well with the team because you're too much into yourself. You're too much into yourself, and you can't be too much into yourself. You have to respect other teams, other countries, and that's really the biggest ordeal. Because just because you're on the team, you're still in their culture. So you have to respect their culture. Respect the way they move. Go into games respecting the fans. They're coming to see you. You can't be like, I'm bigger and I'm better than these people. Sometimes, okay, for context, I remember listening to one of my favorite speakers. If you listen to it, you know I always talk about one of my favorite speakers, E.T. Thomas. And he was like, I'm killing it right now. I don't stay after and sign autographs. Like, I'm only here for 30 minutes, right? And then he had got checked. Say he was talking to God and he got checked. He's like, what do you mean? Like, who are you now that you think you're better than to stick around and give these people what they've been coming for, which is you and your attention from the gifts that I gave you. So I say that to say this. You've been given a gift to bless people with the way that you play. And you have to respect those people by letting them, they come to see you. They come to enjoy what you do and what you bring to them. And you're going to be self-centered and not reciprocate that to them. Hey, let's take a picture, man. E.T. say from that one experience, by him just saying, you know what, I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to stick around. I'm going to sign autographs. I did this. He was able to sign multi-million-dollar deals. And it's the same thing. It's the same concept when you're playing overseas. Stick around. Engage. Engage with the people. Talk with them. Take pictures. Go out to charity events. The guy that was here on the team with me before made national news. National news. Because he took some he went to the store, bought some basketballs, and took it to a school because he seen that they didn't have no basketballs. They was out there running around looking crazy. He was like, what's going on? Are they playing basketball out here? I don't think that's basketball. You know what? I ain't got nothing else better to do. You know what would be cool? If I just went and bought some basketballs and just started throwing them over the fence like, hey guys, you want some basketballs? Got there. Person seen them say, hey, are you donating these basketballs? They took a picture, put it in the national news. Do you hear what I'm saying? The national news. He said for the next 3-4 games, not even just in the city that he was in every different other city all through Argentina. If you know Argentina is huge. The crowds from their other cities gave him standing ovations because he gave something to the culture. He respected the culture. He went out of his way. So now that alone will increase your bag because they understand the type of person that you are. You have to understand what kind of person you are, and that will change the game for you. That will change the game for you. Reason Number 5, while your bag will not increase, and that's your mental toughness. In my book, that is probably one of the biggest and most important things in the whole book that I talk about, and it's one of the reasons I get on here and try to educate as much as I can. It's mental toughness. It is mental toughness. First of all, you have to understand you're on a thin line. You're on a very thin line as a hooper as is. You don't get too many chances. You remember the old Eminem song? You only got one shot. You only get one chance. I can't even remember. It was so old. You literally have about 1 or 2 chances to get right. You really got about 1 or 2 chances to get right. You don't got a lot of time to be messing around out there. You have a bad game. You better be mentally strong to bounce back and say, you know what? This next game is going to be a bad game. You better come and show up. And that's literally without being a ball hog. See, most guys think that, okay, I got to bounce back, so I got to come out here and put up 30 shots. No. Literally come back and have a good game. Do the intangibles. Because you're not going to have that many opportunities. Especially when you go to a new club. Every team, every league is a new opportunity. Even guys who are on guarantees, I seen get cut. Guaranteed. A guaranteed contract is when you sign and you're guaranteed the money for the entire season. The entire season, that means you probably sign in August, and if it's a 10-month season, you're guaranteed all your money. If they decide to cut you or get rid of you, you're guaranteed. Still get cut. 1 or 2. Sometimes the teams, I don't care about this money. That we'd rather get rid of you and bring somebody else in because you're not worth it. So you really don't have too many chances to prove yourself. Some guys, they're going to get away with it because they just got skin in the game. They've been in the game long enough, and they might have a little bit more leadway. You know who those guys are? Those are guys who probably been in the league 5, 6, 7, 8 years, probably won a couple of championships, probably won a couple of MVPs. So they kind of get a little bit of leadway. But if you are a new player, let me calm down because it's so important so that you understand what I'm trying to explain to you. If you're a new athlete, a new player, you just can't, you got to have mental toughness. You got to be able to bounce back quick. Get over a loss and just get right back to it. Can't let it affect you. Once you have a loss, this is what you got to understand. All the eyes are on you at all times. Literally at all times, all the eyes are always on you. So you have to be able to just let that slide. Let that slide. I had a bad game. It's okay. I'm not even going to let it affect me. You can't come in there kicking a water bottle, slapping, you know what I'm saying, throwing chairs. What's that one, the video of Netflix? When they was in the college and I can't even remember the series. It's the series where they're in there and the guy, he gets kicked. He's getting fouled so much, and so he go. I think it was like Joe Hampton. He goes and he's picking up the stool and he's like, he's slamming it. Don't do that. Don't do that. That will not suffice. That will get you nowhere. That will get you a bad rap. You got to be mentally strong to handle whatever comes to you. Because life is going to happen on and off the court at the same time. Your life does not stop the minute you go play basketball. The minute you cross over, it's actually, you have to be actually more mentally strong because you're dealing with such more outside sources. Especially if you have like kids. I know those who have kids. I know specifically some guys that I know that are young, that are in their like 19, 20, in their first, second year of college. JUCO wants to make it overseas. It's their goal. It's their passion. I see them grinding. I see them learning. They're showing up to all of the workouts. They're surrounding themselves by pros. They're seeking the knowledge. They're trying to get out there. They're trying to make it to the life of playing overseas basketball. They probably got a kid, a son, a daughter. They want to show them like, hey, you can go and live out your dream. And they know that struggle. They know that struggle of, man, I just want to make it. So when you go overseas, you got all that on your head at all times. I can't get to my kid. I can't get to my mom, my sister, my brother might be sick, my uncle, somebody. You know, do you know how many times a loved one passes away while you're playing? My grandma died in the playoffs. I flew back on the weekend, on my birthday, buried her, and flew back to go play in the game about a 4-day period. My father died right before a championship game, a championship playoff series. These are the moments and situations that you got to go through. It cannot break you. You cannot let these situations break you. Your mind has to be mentally strong. The ways that you get your mind strong, there's so many various different ways. But one advice that I would give you is you have to have strong people around you. You have to have like-minded people around you that are going to help you improve instead of not really pushing the needle in the right direction. Any person that when you're going through a tough situation, say, hey man, let's just go out here and turn up. Let's go out here and get drunk. Let's go blow it down. They're moving that needle in the opposite direction. Even though it might not seem like a lot, it's moving it in the opposite direction. The people that are close to you that really care about you and they give you that support and they push you through it, having a mentor. It's also in the book. I really stress having a mentor because they can help you understand how to navigate through life situations, because life is going to be the strongest thing that you go through when it comes to dealing with the overseas life. And you don't want situations to hinder you from increasing and moving up in level so you can start getting the money that you deserve, because you put all this work in. You grinding, you going hard, you putting all this work in, and you getting up early and you getting extra shots up and you hitting the weight room and you studying, and you don't even get, and you got to go and play for $600, $700. How far is that going to get you? You want to make this life the most lucrative? Don't be afraid to get that money. You can't be afraid to get that money. But you gotta, there's steps to it. There's ways to it. Excuse me. There's ways to it. There's ways. There's sequences. There's a way to get to that bag. Mental toughness is definitely one of them. If you guys have made it this far into the video, I really appreciate you. If you guys can leave me a comment, like, share this with someone who wants to increase their value, who wants to make it overseas, who wants to know how to scale up and make it to playing and get to the bag. This is a business. It's chess pieces on the board. It's chess pieces on the board. Certain traits that you have to figure out in order to make that. I explain a lot of that in my book. If you guys want to go check it out, I'll have the link in the bio so you guys can go and just check it out, and it will help you just understand, like, there are certain traits that you must have to increase your bag, to become a successful player, to become exactly what you want, to get what you want out of this game. Every time we're striving to be our best version of ourselves so we can be the best player for ourselves, our families, you know, for ourselves. We're doing this for ourselves too. We don't want to just be out here playing for nothing. We're not out here playing for nothing. We work too hard for that. We work too hard to be out here playing for nothing. So let's run up that bag. Don't let these 5 things stop you from increasing your bag and getting to that paper. That's all I got for you guys. Till next time. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe on our YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and wherever you listen to your podcast. I greatly appreciate it.